welcome everyone to the late night edition of the Galactic Circuit. Winner of this goes on to face either Ace or King Bean Dip.
So whoever loses this race is, or this match, is gonna get eliminated. And that's a little unfortunate because these are two very, very skilled runners. The first track was selected as Bunta Training Course, well known for being the first track in the game that basically everybody plays whenever they're first playing the game.
Yeah, and a good pick here as well, very favorable for him, as Metallica, I believe, is fond of this skip, which is kind of a crapshoot when you're trying to win it. It's very inconsistent, so it doesn't necessarily favor an underdog, but it makes upsets more likely.
Indeed. But this being full track, it's going to be more about the boost lines that you take and being as accurate as you can.
Both held the first boost. Can be a little finicky. Dom going for rock jump, Metallica not. That'll save Dom a little bit of time.
Yeah, it also, in my experience, makes heat management a little bit easier. But that might just be me. It also makes avoiding rocks easier too, especially on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean that's the big deal. That's why I did it.
But they seem very even right now. Neither of these runners has a super clear advantage. Metallica might be slightly ahead, but it could be due to heat.
Yeah, Metallica on much higher heat here.
So this is actually... maybe Dom's a little bit ahead, in fact. They're going into lap 3. They both seem to be on, like... This is really, really good pace. Like, they're both on
this
fantastic.
is incredibly fast.
Yeah, see, Metallica running out of heat there, not able to hold that boost as long as he wanted, probably, so...
Not convinced about Dom's...
This is going to be a really close photo finish. Oh! But Dom's going to take it because of lower heat. And a 135.9 is an incredible time, frankly. That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's stellar.
137.3 is also a great time, but wow.
Yeah, Metallica just didn't have enough in the tank on that last lap. You saw he was doing the full heat strat down the hill on all 3 laps, which ends up just leaving you with a shorter boost coming into the first turns of the second lap.
All right, we got our perm bands coming in now. Inferno is the first one to go, followed by Adobe Mountain Run, and then Gauntlet. So Dom banned Inferno, Metallica's banned Adobe Mountain Run, Dom bans Gauntlet, and Metallica bans Grabvine.
Right. Well, that's some player matchup knowledge from both players. Metallica, the current world record holder on Inferno skips, so unsurprising to see Dom banning that, and then taking out Gauntlet, I guess, because he just doesn't want to go to that skip either. And then Grabvine Gateway is Dom's favorite track, certainly his best. So
yeah, I believe he has the world record there as well. So,
oh, has Ace not managed to take that one back yet?
I haven't seen it. Maybe he has. But Dom really took the world record down on that one. Metallica is banning Mars Guo temporarily. Dom has removed Endoprime Centrum temporarily. And Metallica picks Scrapper's Run, no forces. I fear some will consider this to be a boring pick. Scrapper's Run may not be one of the more exciting tracks to watch, but it does have some parts that you do gotta watch out for. Most notoriously is a wall referred to as the Death Wall, because it is covered in basically caution tape, and it will make one of your engines disappear if you get a bit too close to it. Yeah, you can die on it really easily. There's a way to avoid it, but it's also risky.
Yes, that one likes to cause you to explode randomly. There's a jump you can do off the wall in front of it.
I have a lot of good feelings generally about the Ordabana tracks, but aside from Abyss, people tend to think they're boring.
I'm a fan of Scrapper's Run. It's the most unique of the Ordabana tracks, I think, in terms of
Yeah,
like visuals and stuff. The caution wall, sure, it's infamous, but it's cool looking. The pipe before it, it's a fun track.
it's not a very long track either. You're usually going to be getting 3 lap times on the order of, I'd say, 1 minute 55 seconds is a pretty average time. For like an average skill runner's PB would be 155. So sub 2 times are pretty common with Ben.
It looks like Dom will be doing the jump. He did it in practice there. It's pretty risky. Oh, Metallica too. It doesn't save that much time, and it's very easy to crash on that wall ride. And sort of semi-random. It's never really clear what exactly went wrong to cause you to explode.
Yeah, it is risky, but it looks really cool. So you got to give it that.
I do gotta give it that. It does definitely look cool, and it skips that death wall and a hard boost. It's pretty
Hmm.
difficult to actually keep the boost through that tunnel section.
Oh yeah, totally. An underrated boost line is the very first boost of this lap, which when you're on lap 1, you have no heat at the very beginning of every race, so you just have to hold it all the way through, and it's actually a little bit difficult to hold even before you get to the tube, and then you have to you don't have to, but there's a way you can slide down into the tube and keep the boost. I'm sure we'll see that. Oh, Dom messed it up, and Metallica didn't go for it.
And it
So,
just holds nose up.
oh, Metallica's going for it too. They both get it, but Metallica got it better. Much bigger jump there.
So
And
he's
the
already
second wall is not nearly as deadly if you know what you're doing.
yes, that turn is not nearly as tight, and you're not trying to do it right after a drop.
Yep. Wow, there's 2 really close lap times. That is a 200ths apart. And we'll now see Metallica nails it again, and so does Dom. Wow, Metallica's certainly. Oh no!
Oh,
Yikes!
there.
That's an unusual death spot. I don't usually see people crash there.
I didn't even
But that's
see
the
it
story of
happen.
this game. I think at least half of the deaths in this game are in unusual places.
Yeah, yeah, a good quarter of the time, even, I go, wow, I didn't even know you could die there. Oh, that's very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
that's really heartbreaking because Dom is just owning this track, as he typically does. He is one of the foremost runners in this game, in competition for most world records.
Yeah, it's actually a little surprising to see him lose this bracket.
150 is really, really good. 155 with a death is also really good, but when you take into account the death, but yeah.
It's unfortunate that could have been like a 151 maybe.
Yeah, that was on a really, really, really good pace. And we've got repeats of the bands with Mars and Endoprime Centrum. And Metallica's picking Abyss and forcing skips. This is another one of the, I guess, I think I've seen Metallica do this before. So I'm not sure if it's like a Metallica special, but it's certainly something that he's wants to do.
Metallica is one of the more skip comfortable players, for sure.
Absolutely. The
Actually,
Abyss skip is makes it um basically the shortest track in the game. Uh, it's just a little bit shorter than Inferno skip, I believe. They're pretty close though. Where the Inferno skip is still requires you to drive across a bit of the track at one part. This skip doesn't really. You just kind of loop around the starting booth a couple times.
Yep, and use Abyss's infamous penalty lap against it.
Yeah, it's sort of a poetic irony that the thing they put into the track to make it significantly more difficult actually ends up being the thing that allows you to much more easily and quickly defeat it if you know how to exploit it.
I like this pick a
Penalty
lot for
lap down
Metallica.
there. Yeah. But basically, because you can fly over the penalty lap, the game will think you're on it, and because it thinks you're on it, it thinks you're far enough into the track that when you cross the finish line the next time, it will have been actually an entire lap completed. So it just ticks the lap over. It's actually a little bit more complicated than that, but the full explanation would take a couple minutes, so I'm just not going to do it. Alright, I'm not even going to bother with a sync pause for this one because it's just too short of a track for it to really matter.
Ooh, Metallica really struggling on the first climb.
Oh, and
no.
that's not good. Although he does spawn up top instead of on the penalty lap, so that's good, but yeah. Looks like Dom's got this. Oh, and another death. That's not good. Yeah, 24.69, that's good. That's a good time for this, but Metallica struggling heavily even to complete one lap there. Took more time than Dom would have taken to complete 4 or 5 laps potentially, so yeah.
Wow, very unfortunate and very uncharacteristic for Metallica, who's an extremely skilled runner in his own right.
Yeah, this is kind of surprising in a way. I mean, it's certainly we understand that Domirae is a very, very skilled runner, and he's going to be in competition to win anything that Metallica can throw at him, but it's still kind of frightening to see Domirae be so dominant, if you excuse the pun. Once again, Mars Guo is temporarily banned, along with Endoprime Centrum, and Metallica is taking us to a Bunta training course run back, this time forcing skips. That sounds fun.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, this is why it was good for Dom to win that track earlier, because it forces Metallica to use this salty run back. That's the only one he gets for this match. We allow runners to pick one course that they lost on to go back and try to win again. So this is Metallica's last chance to do that. Let's hope the skip treats him a bit more kindly this time.
So the main difference between Bunta Training Course Full Track and Bunta Training Course Skips is most of it, because you just jump over a big wall and through an invisible wonderland of horror that you just have to pray you don't die in, and then hopefully don't phase through the floor on the other side, and hope that the lap counts.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite so bad, but there's all sorts of invisible walls that would really like to murder you. And the void out timer. And this wall right this is a really horrible skip. It is.
Yeah, climbing the wall isn't easy. Getting to the other side is not easy at all. And then sometimes the lap just doesn't count. Because, you know, this game is extremely well made. Although, to be fair, you're kind of pushing it to its limits as much as we can, because we're speedrunners and we do that, but...
This is true.
Just blame every problem, you know. Why can't it glitch, like, nicely?
Right. Why did the designers make this easy for us?
And why didn't they just design the glitches to be more fun?
It's funny, this skip is faster if you do it well, but if it fails, and it's very easy for it to fail, we've actually seen people beat the skip runner by going full track.
Yeah, that is a strategy for this, but it definitely doesn't seem like either runner is going going to go for that in this. They're both going to try to skip.
Metallica got to climb a little faster.
Well, a 20.00 and a 21.3, so Metallica has about a 1 second lead right now. But that doesn't mean very much because obviously anything can happen in such a volatile skip environment. That's a solid lap. And Metallica maintains a very small lead now, a couple tenths. Oh, Domirae might have gotten the climb faster. I think Dom might have this.
Oh, this is so tight, though.
Oh, he's got it.
Barely.
56.9 to a 57 point. What was the decimal 3? So that's less than half a second. Very, very close, that one. And yet still Domirae will not lose. Has not blinked this entire time. Has he died?
No,
I don't think Domirae's even died at this point. Now Metallica switching things up and banning Ben. Domirae continues to ban Endoprime Centrum. And Metallica is going for Sebulba's Legacy. Sebulba's Legacy with no Ben. That's an interesting pick.
I mean, Bull's Roar is the next fastest pod, but good gracious, that sounds awful on Sebulba's Legacy.
It certainly sounds harsh, but it might be the best option. We'll see what Metallica has planned. I'm sure he's got something.
Yeah, honestly, I think Bull's probably is just too bad at turning to actually be faster than a Mars. And that's Metallica's plan.
Mars and Bullseye would be the safest picks, the easiest to use. And it seems like Metallica's going with Mars. I probably would go with Mars here, if this were me. If I were feeling particularly adventurous, I might go with Bulls, but I could very easily see that backfiring on me.
Oh,
yeah, Dom's going for Bull's Roar. Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Mars can put up pretty respectable times here. He can do a 147 or maybe even a 146 at his limit. The world record here is 141. And that jump that you just saw Metallica go over at the end of the course, Mars is pretty dang consistent with that. So is Bullseye, which is part of why they're safe picks here.
Yeah, Mars can very consistently do that.
Alright, let's see how this goes. It has to be said, Sebulba's Legacy is one of the hardest tracks in the game. It is just nasty turn after nasty turn, lots of really difficult boosts to hold, and actually quite difficult to avoid underheating on this track because it's so difficult to hold a boost cleaner.
Yeah. We'll see if the Bull's Roar pick, which on paper is better than the Mars pick, but, you know, once you actually get down to it, it might be tougher for Domirae to handle Bulls than it is for Metallica to handle Mars. And the results could be shocking. Or maybe it'll be like, I don't know, really boring. Who knows? Let's hope not.
He looked solid in practice. We'll see if that translates to the actual run.
Indeed. One of Mars's main traits is how long he can hold his boost. He's got a very solid boost length, and it's not slow either. You can cruise around 930, 940 usually. Ben obviously can get over 1,000 easily, so that's why Mars isn't the favorite pick if you can pick anyone, but still a very respectable pick. And as you can see, just based on Bull's Roar's speed compared to Mars, Bull's Roar being the second fastest pod in the game, Dom was able to take about a 8/10 lead just on the first lap here.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. Being able to actually use Bull's impressive boost thrust is quite difficult with his terrible turn rate.
Yeah, and it just seems that with Bull's blazing speed, Domirae is handling it very, very well. And just building up a lead here that Metallica won't be able to compete with. It would take a death for Domirae to lose now, I think.
Yeah, at this point, it's Metallica needs a catastrophic error from Dom.
Yeah, even that little bonk that Domirae just experienced isn't enough to take away his lead. So unless he dies on the wall ride here, he should have this in the bag. Yeah, he's got it.
Wow, very impressive run for Dom there.
147 with Bull's Brewer. Fantastic.
And a 148.9 with Mars for Metallica? That is getting close to Mars's limit.
I mean, Metallica put up a really good time too. 148.9 with Mars that's a good time. Let's not besmirch that. That's solid.
Yeah, that is really hard to do with Ben, even. Just because this track is so...
Yeah, sub 150 is if you can get sub 150 Sebulba's Legacy, you have my respect. I think that's a solid, So doing it with Mars, who's slower than Ben, that's really solid. Yeah, Metallica is not getting the outcome from this match that he wanted. Certainly, he's losing a lot of his picks. He's lost all of his picks so far, and it's just not going very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Metallica has looked frighteningly good all tournament. He's taken down a lot of tough opponents and just generally put up very strong times, but Domirae is looking completely unassailable tonight.
Yeah, I think this says more about Domirae than it does about Metallica. Metallica's a fearsome runner in his own right. Ben gets banned, Ondo Prime Centrum gets banned, and we've got Doug Derby, no forces. So I think we're just going to the only other not banned Malistaire track with no Ben. Kind of cool. I'm a fan of Malistaire. It's one of my favorite worlds in this. I guess I just like the nighttime theme. Since the two planets that have like an internal nighttime theme are among my favorites.
And Doug Derby is certainly a very, very fun track.
Oh yes. One of the hardest in the game, but also quite short.
I like the strategy from Metallica, picking tracks where Dom can conceivably make a mistake and won't have the time to make it back up.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly a respectable strategy, picking like a more difficult track, and then banning Ben so that a runner like Dom is forced out of his comfort zone. Dom will probably be picking Bulls here as well. Or maybe not, because Doug Derby is a bit more turny than Sebulba's Legacy. But Metallica can just pick Mars, perhaps the safe pick here, and cruise off that, and that can possibly, if Domirae makes too many mistakes, can carry him to a win. So I approve of this strategy. Once you've exhausted all of your best picks and just nothing's working, this is probably the way to go. And will he even pick Bulls on this? That is a question.
He wanted to go a little bit safer but still fast. He could consider like an Elan Mac, but I'm not sure I would pick that I'm not sure if a runner of Dom's caliber would go to Elan here if Bulls is still in. I think he'll be comfortable on it. And he has been doing a bunch of no upgrades runs recently, so he should be more familiar with Bulls right now than he normally would be.
Well, it seems he'll be going with Bulls Brewer here. Just changing up the traction, which is understandable. It's not an easy track. So you'll want to tailor your pod to it rather than just winging it with whatever it happens to have.
Yep, and generally that'll be going to a slightly higher traction upgrade than normal Bulls. We do tend to run this game with as low traction as possible to maximize sliding, drifting around turns, but Bulls starts with such a low traction stat that is a surefire way to slam into a wall.
Yeah, R20 Bulls is something else. If you've never done no upgrades ILs before, it's an experience. Yeah, off they go. So Doug Derby is... I don't know if there's anybody out there who actually, like, hates this track. I think everybody likes it to some extent, because it's just a cool, fun track.
It got some bonus in that regard, because it's based on a real raceway, Laguna Seca.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tried and true, tested by... I don't know if they race F1 there, but tested by actual race car drivers. Once again, solid first laps for both, but Metallica slightly behind, mostly just because...
Ooh, Domirae getting some scrapes in there, not boosting as much as he wants. That's going to give Metallica an advantage.
Yeah, Dom will underheat a bit here. Or did he even? He might have just barely avoided underheating.
And that's a 0.2 lead for Metallica on that lap, which, considering the difference between how fast Bulls and Mars is, that's pretty significant. The cleaner racing from Metallica might be what gives him the edge here. But there's still more track left to race, and with a track this volatile, you really can't call it until it's over.
I'm already made up that lead just with
But that's all
boost.
And it's just out of his last boost. Oh! Bulls is just too fast. It's, you know, illegal to be that fast. Unless you're Ben. Yeah.
Unbelievable, says Metallica.
Man,
Not thinking.
this is Bulls Aru's revenge. We're already on match point. Another Ben ban from Metallica.
Metallica has two more forces here. He could strip away two more pods and or force no upgrades or skips or whatever he wants.
Yeah, and Dom bans Ondo Prime Centrum once again.
I wonder why exactly. I mean, he should be perfectly comfortable on the full track there. Is that just for the skip?
What will Metallica pull out at the last moment to try and prevent his demise? Can he win 7 in a row?
Yeah, it's a tall order of 7 match points for Dom. And this will be Metallica's last chance to use any forces or play on a track he wants.
Well, hey, but if it does happen, it'll be one for the ages.
That would certainly be, yeah, one for the history books. Ooh.
Baru Coast, and he's using his last 2 forces to ban Mars and Ma, which is short for Mahonic. It uses up the last of his forces, which is fine because, well, he's not going to be able to use them even if he wins here. Because if he ever loses again, he's lost the whole match. So
this should be Bullseye Mirror.
Yeah.
I assume.
With no Ben, no Mars, and no Mahonic.
He didn't take away Bulls. That's
only option
right?
here is Bulls.
Elan, I guess. Yeah, as Ace says, Elan.
Elon, I guess, could be, but like, I just don't see it. I mean, I wouldn't use Elon Mac here. I'd use Bullseye in this situation.
It's scary for sure, but
maybe Metallica has something planned, but yeah, Metallica's going for Bullseye. I could see Dom going for
if anyone's going to do it, it'll be Dom. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have at least practiced it. He's one of the most prepared runners. He does a ton of prep. He's got sheets for... he's got like he showed me once. He has a spreadsheet for what pods and traction and FPS he will use for every track, including when a bunch of pods get banned. So
and it is, yeah, he is using Elon Mac. So this is going to be interesting. So yeah, Baru Coast, another one of the harder tracks in the game. This is easily a top 5 hardest track.
The funny thing is, though, it's not so bad with Bullseye.
Yeah. It's a lot easier with Bullseye than it is with Ben, but Ben is the faster pick.
Yeah,
as compared to the hardest track in the game, Grabvine Gateway, where you still use Bullseye, but it's still the hardest track in the game.
Right. Looks like both players are ready to start once the stream delay catches up here, and will Metallica's strategy finally pay off?
I'd really hate to see Metallica get eliminated without a single win in this match. So I'm really hoping that he can at least manage this one.
That would be a shock, really, if Metallica didn't take a single track here. I mean, Dom is the favorite, for sure, and that's clearly come out in the results we've seen, but
yeah,
Metallica is certainly capable of this going, 7-2, 7-3 at the very least.
Off they go. So this is the probably first main part of the track, is that jump there. It's a little bit tricky, especially depending on what pod you're using and what stats you have. Then there's this beach section, and this is probably one of the major differences between different pods, because depending on how long you can heat up and cool down your boosting, you might have to take different lines through there. Then the first major turn section of the track, pretty much the major turn section, like Blue Coast, which is going to be much easier and faster for Bullseye than for Elon, but Elon might be able to make it up with boosting throughout the rest of the track, because there are several good opportunities for that.
And we saw that play out with Dom taking the lead on the beach section. Now Metallica in the lead through these more winding portions where Elon can't boost.
Yes. But now coming up on the end of lap 1 here, we'll get to see Metallica is in the lead, but not by very much. Actually, Dom's a half second ahead. Wow. It looked like Metallica was a bit ahead, but that might be, that was mistaken, so.
I think he's just a hair ahead.
Yeah.
Also,
Bullseye has good cooling, so he'll be able to boost a lot through that section.
Yes, but that is part of why he's so nice for these switchbacks. He can actually, well, in this case, but in certain areas, he can do micro boosts between turns that he
It seems that Dom is just building in a bigger and bigger lead. It really seems unlikely that Metallica will be able to bring this back without Dom dying. Because it just seems like every section they go through, Dom comes out a little bit faster and extends his lead a little bit further.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him over a second ahead if he goes back to something very fast-paced from Dom.
Yeah. Again, the laps themselves are within a second of each other, but that adds up because Dom is consistently finishing slightly ahead.
It's a rough situation to be in for Metallica here, because you're relying on one of the best runners in the world to make a mistake.
Yeah, but, unless you yourself are one of the best runners in the world, that's kind of how you have to play it when you're playing against someone of this caliber.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen there was only 2 tracks where Metallica actually crashed. They've both been very clean so far.
Yeah, but Dom's lead just seems unassailable at this point, and it seems almost a certainty that he takes the win here.
Yeah, he is basically out of places where he could potentially crash.
Indeed. Oh!
Okay, there it is.
Well,
oh, is that it?
That did it.
That's enough. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I honestly didn't think a crash in that second would be enough.
Oh my. The last turn of the race. Okay. Dom does not get to 7-0 Metallica without dying, which he nearly did.
Wow.
Yikes. At least Metallica got his race. Domirae bans Bull's Ruer. Metallica bans Bumpy's Breakers, and now I'm fairly sure Domirae is going to be able to pull something out that he can easily win. Or maybe he'll go for entertainment value. I mean, he's far enough ahead at this point. Aqualaris Classic, no forces.
Yeah, I like that a lot. This is such a simple, straightforward track where there's... I mean, I don't want to say it because of what just happened, but there's basically no chance either runner dies here, and that means Dom wins. Almost certainly.
Yeah. Aqualaris Classic is one of the easiest tracks in the game, and there's just not that many places on it where you can reasonably die. If you're a speedrunner, I mean.
Yep. That figure 8 at the end of the track, which we'll see, is the one place where like major bumps could happen. But the rest of it, if you know where there's a couple of death polygons on the floor, but if you know where they are, you can avoid them. And certainly these runners do. Otherwise, it's a very simple track. All right, chat. I understand that saying it's hard to die is just tempting this game to make you crash, but
I mean,
I expect both of these runners to go deathless here.
To a certain degree, when you do enough commentary on matches, you eventually begin to love the commentator's curse and lean into it, attempting to invoke it for entertainment value.
Which is clearly what I will take credit for doing on that last track.
Yeah. Because, I mean, deaths are not great for speedruns, but they are great for entertainment. So, you know, we totally want that to happen as much as possible. But Ben Mirror on AQC is just some good old classic pod racing. I mean, this is what it's all about, folks. Crashing and dying a million times on a really difficult track and, like, slightly messing up a boost and hitting reset in the first 10 seconds. That's more what speedrunning this game is about. But, you know, we'll, not worry about that, just like I won't worry about the stuff I'm knocking off my desk on accident. And here they go. Match point number 2. Aqualaris Classic is the first Aqualaris track you get introduced to in the amateur circuit. It's the 4th track. It's the track that you unlock Clegg Holdfast on, who is mostly useless.
Is a decent backup for Abyss Skip if you have lost access to the better parts.
Yeah. I guess that's a good summary.
I see.
But yeah, it's just otherwise it's just a nice chill track. Yeah, Metallica does seem to be ahead. I'm not certain if that's a small discrepancy of the stream or if he actually is. No, he actually seems to be about by a third of a second. Yeah. That does seem to be accurate.
Oh, yeah, Ace with the Hawkeyes there. Yeah, Metallica on much higher heat. It's not a real deal.
True. I guess, yeah. But who knows, you know? At least they're close enough that a bonk or definitely a death could shake things up very significantly. I think either of these players dying would immediately at that point basically decide it. Oh! And you can see the instinct from Dom almost restarting the race after crashing.
Yep. And look back.
And he seems to be yeah. Okay, so Metallica might be climbing back up in terms of wins.
Yeah,
I guess the question is now, how easily does Dom get tilted? And I don't mean when he tilts on his side to hold that boost.
Gosh, I wish I hadn't said anything about not being able to crash on this track.
Wow. I will always mention how a death can swing a close race on the second or third lap. That is my favorite thing to do as a commentator, and I will continue to do it. I feel no remorse for my actions, and I will do it again.
And I mean, fairness to Dom, he died in a spot where it is actually relatively easy to take a crash. You're trying to hold a pretty difficult boost up that
And in
hill.
fairness to Metallica, 2:38 is an awesome time for tournament.
Yeah, death is what, 4 to 5 seconds. So that would have been within a few tenths without the crash.
Bulls is getting the ban this time, as is Bumpy's Breakers from Metallica. Now Domirae must pick, and he picks Spice Mine Run, no upgrades. That explains the Bulls ban. I think we might be about to see, no, this should still be a Ben mirror. I don't think Sebulba's faster than Ben, no upgrades.
Yeah, that's correct. It goes Bulls Ben.
Domirae, who claims to not like no upgrades. Yeah, Metallica's making a fun point there.
Yeah, well, Donald's been grinding no upgrades though recently. He's been putting in time on a lot of ILs here, so
that's true. He's been doing no upgrades ILs, so this could potentially be an avenue for victory here. Spice Mine Run as well is notorious for being one of the most important tracks in the game for boost timings and being as accurate as you can on where and when you boost and how you manage your heat.
That totally changes in no upgrades.
Completely, yeah.
This is sort of a storied track in this tournament. This was the decider of last year's tournament. Final track between Mikey Berger and Ace. I assume that with no upgrades you are not fast enough for the bulldozer to be an issue on this track. But I'm not actually sure, because I'm not very familiar with no upgrades.
The only track I've really done no upgrades ILs for was Mongaza Speedway.
Okay,
yeah, and the minecart isn't a problem at all with no upgrades.
Right. Yeah, on max upgrades, coming out of that tunnel that Metallica just came out of, there can be an obstacle that gets in your way on the third lap because it's on a timer and it just turns out to be in a bad spot.
Off they go. Match point number 3. So, yeah, no upgrades significantly changes basically everything about how you race. It becomes a lot more about the shortest line, which obviously that's always going to be probably the most significant thing in most situations, but in no upgrades it becomes so much more important. And it also increases how important your boost timing is, because with no cooling upgrade, you're going to be holding on to your heat for a very long time, which means that finding the timings that allow you the long boosts as opposed to short bursts of boosting is going to be ideal if you want to maximize your speed over time.
Yep, longer boosts in this game are somewhat faster than shorter ones. You gain speed as you go. Metallica already a little less comfortable with those boost lines. He's been doing some micro boosts here and there to check what his heat is. Definitely doesn't have the practice down that Dom does on this track. The thing about no upgrades, though, is your acceleration is so horrible that even a small bonk can end up costing you a lot.
Yeah. On the last track, Aquilar's Classic, you will remember that Metallica appeared to be about a third of a second ahead, but Dom was actually ahead due to his heat. Here, Metallica finished the first lap a full second faster than Dom, but is actually quite a bit behind because of how much heat Domirae had. Which, once he
And
used that up in
also,
that boost, now Domirae is clearly ahead. So,
Yep.
it just goes to show you how much more important it is to be able to boost a long way while still not underheated. You know, you don't want to wait too long and get
And
yourself in a position
Metallica,
where you can't boost.
Metallica also took up one of those bonks and is
Mm-hmm.
at much lower base speed than Dom is right now.
Yes, another factor that doesn't come into play too much with max upgrades, although it is important, but becomes vital on no upgrades, is the base speed, which is slowly building over the course of the entire race. And if you scrape a wall, you will lose some of that base speed. So you'll see more clearly once they get to a flat portion, like you can see Dom is on 571 right now. And Metallica's on like 551. And that difference is so significant over the amount of time because when you're on no upgrades, you're going to be boosting a lot less. So your base speed is going to be much more significant when it comes to your final time.
Yep, and without that upgrade, I mean, Metallica lost maybe 38 speed units, and he still hasn't recovered it. That was on lap 1.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Whereas you take that same bonk in max upgrades, and you're back to being only maybe 5 below.
Yeah. So Dom is just seriously ahead right now. Like, it is very, very significant how far ahead he is, and as well combining that with the base speed advantage that he has, this is looking pretty good for him. I guess the minecart might have been an issue there for Dom, but it wasn't, so.
Will once again require a catastrophic mistake from Dom for Metallica to have any chance here.
Yeah. You can now clearly see, even with Metallica's heat, that Dom's lead is just too significant, really, for clean racing at this point to make it up.
And I mean, throughout this entire race, Dom has been taking the tight lines, but it hasn't looked uncontrolled or risky even at all. Yeah, very solid.
450 is very solid, no upgrades time with Ben. 455 is solid too, but yeah, just not quite as practiced as what Domirae had. So Metallica has been eliminated from the tournament. No. Yeah, I think we're down to just 4 runners left now, aren't we?
Yes, Ace, King Bean Dip, and then Banana Boat Kid and Dom are the last 4. So that's all of our top 4 for this tournament.
I believe that means that actually it was true before Metallica was eliminated, but I believe every member participant in the tournament left has had a world record at some point.
I believe that is correct. Banana Boat Kid, I'm pretty sure still holds the Abyss record, or Abyss Skips record, rather. King Bean Dip and Dom are both world record contenders on many, many tracks. Well, I'm glad we saw the match go to, 7-2 instead of being a 7-0. That would have been, it would have been a certain kind of story. All right, hello there, runners.
Welcome to our runners.
Hello.
No. GG Metallica.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah. Good match.
Yeah, you two did very well. It got kind of interesting towards the last couple of races there.
I can't believe I died on the last turn of Brew Coast.
That was kind of shocking.
Such a random death.
I honestly wasn't sure that death was going to be enough.
Yeah, even with that death, it was still really, really close.
Yeah, Elan Mac is really fast on Brew Coast.
I'll have to start practicing that for next year, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm pretty amazed that you could play so well with Balls Roar. I'm really interested in watching that because those were some pretty nice times.
That Sibbles Legacy was so sketchy, and I almost died on both Sibbles Legacy and Derby.
Yeah, but it was clean to watch, honestly.
Yeah, I'm happy. I cleaned up last time against King Bean. I had like 15 deaths. This time I had 2, so I feel a lot better about that.
Yeah, really nice.
Did you only die once, Metallica, or did you? Oh no, you died 3 times because of Abyss skips. I forgot about
Twice in Abyss, yeah, and I don't remember. Oh, once in.
that. I think you died once in Scrappers. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in Abyss. I did the practice. I did 3 different practice runs, and I did it correctly all 3 times. But then, as soon as the real one starts, I just die.
Funnily enough, I messed up my practice run. Sometimes it just be like that.
Yeah, even with the more consistent skips like this, there are plenty of things that can go wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating, but it's the risk that you have to accept when you decide to pick this type of skips.
Yeah, for sure. And apparently the risk I have to accept when I pick Aqualar's Classic, arguably the easiest track in the game.
I have to apologize in advance for that, Dom, if you go back and watch the VOD where we were talking about, oh yeah, this is a great pick for Dom because it's almost certainly not going to crash. It's probably a sure bet.
Not only that, but I messed up lap 1 in almost the same way, so I nearly underheated lap 1. It was like, what the heck am I doing? I got a 237.01 going into practice before the match started. I was like, this is free. This is gonna be easy, and then I die.
Well, that's what happens when you think it's gonna be free, right?
It's not that I thought it was gonna be free in that sense. It's like I was like, okay, free 237 is what I thought to myself. No, it wasn't. Oh well. Sometimes the game doesn't like you.
Indeed. Well, thanks for the match, guys. Metallica, it's unfortunate to have you go, but
Yeah.
there can only be one, that stands victorious at the end, so.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how far I came in the tournament. I was pretty scared that I was gonna get eliminated by Nectarn, or even before that, I was trying to predict who I was gonna have to play against, and I thought if I played against Lightning, I might get eliminated. If I played against Paige, I could get eliminated. So I'm pretty happy that I made it this far.
Yeah, you did very, very well.
Yeah, going in top 8. Very respectful.
And Domirae, welcome to the Final 4.
Yeah, and my rematch with BBK.
That'll be a fun one. I can't wait to see that.
For sure. Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys for coming on down and giving us a nice race here.
Yeah, thanks for the commentary.
Yeah, and thanks to Speed Gaming for the host. Thank you to all you lovely people in chat for being as awesome as you are. Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Looking forward to the next matches. Have a good one.